Hey guys, Chris here, and I'm doing something a little new. Doing my first review on an RDTA, which in this case is the IJoy Limitless Plus RDTA. Sorry, I had to get a little vape on it. The box itself, this is definitely one that I found really cool. You guys can see, pretty good size packaging. It normally has the window where the RDTA itself would sit, but of course I've pulled that out and mounted that up to my small gauge priv, which you can see I'm running at 90 watts. Did have it at 100 and even as far as 110 on the coils that I've had built in there, which is a buddy of mine threw together a couple of Claptons for me, which these flavor on is amazing. Details on this guy. 25 mil diameter, which for my H priv is really good. It sits nice and flush on the mod. Upgraded 2-post deck with colored titanium screws, especially for people like me with RDAs who have stripped screws on these guys. It's really awesome. It's a lot more durable. Side screws on the deck, not titanium though, which kind of stinks, but a little bit of caution and being careful, you can do wonders with these guys. 2.5 mil post holes, so you can even put some really fat coils on them, which general builds I run are not all that big, but still pretty good. 11 mil post distance from point to point, which is really good, especially for people that like running heavier wrap, like, see, I think biggest I've seen was a 10 wrap stainless steel on it. Replaceable glass, which on this guy does have the smoked glass. Con about the smoked glass in darker rooms, when you're going to refill it, does tend to make things a little tricky, but if you've got a good light or even a lamp nearby, which you can see in the background I do, it's pretty easy to see in there. Had to get another puff off of that puppy again. Does include, and this is where we get into the inside the box part. Of course, you would see with a lot of other tanks, RTAs, RDTAs, parts bag, O-rings, spare screws, and a little 510 adapter, which I have tested this guy with a locally made drip tip. Honestly, I prefer to run the stock tip on that. Just makes it a little easier, especially when fitting into a pocket. Cool feature about the Limitless Plus RDTA is that it is hybrid compatible. So you can run on a lot more versatile options, or you can run with more versatile options anyway. Air inlets. These guys are huge and very easy to adjust. They're not loose, but they're not too tight. It's got just the right amount of resistance to it. The build deck itself, sorry if the light level's a little low in here, it's absolutely awesome. Some people would compare it to, I guess you could say, sort of a Jenny style tank, but I honestly haven't had much experience with the old style Jennies, so I can't really say much on that part. Wicking, as you would see with some RTAs or even RDTAs that have been out of the market. Wicking on this guy is a little bit weird, but you can see the black metal ring that goes around the base. Once you pop off the top cap, you can actually unscrew that. In fact, I'm going to take the top cap off here real quick and I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. You guys can see where the cotton feeds down into the juice well, which you've got your filler hole here, and it does have this cool little e-liquid drip marker here to show you exactly where that's at. Filling wise, I have tested straight vertical and even slanted. Do tend to prefer a little bit more slanted, that way there's a little bit less risk of runoff going down the side of the mod end tank itself. With this guy, as you can see, you've got two good O-rings to help hold the cap on. This does unscrew, but considering I've got a full load of juice on here, I don't want to run the risk of leakage. When you go to wick it, keep the cotton a little bit loose versus a really tight line of it. That way it does help your juice absorption rates. But you can unscrew that, you can bring the cotton down. Generally, some people do prefer bringing the cotton all the way down to the base of the tank. It's a little tip that I learned from Vape and Fagan on YouTube. Good reviews, by the way. This guy's awesome. Brought it up to just about the top edge of the glass, where it's really, really well. Excuse me while I put the cap back on and make sure my air inlets are lined up with the coils. One cool thing, special for people that like running single coil builds, in the parts bag, this little silicone nub that you can use to block out one half of the deck. All you have to do is basically, if you're running a dual coil build, just pull that off on the one side, stick this guy in, then you can mount up whatever single coil build you choose. So far, pros and cons. Cons, granted, with this being my first RDTA, it's definitely been a little interesting. It's been a major, major learning experience. Pros, very, very durable build. As you guys can see, it's got the Limitless logo on the sides of the top cap, which this is laser etched, and it is very durable. It even has a little bandana style artwork on the side. With a lot of other setups I've ran, including a couple of RDAs, paint on it started chipping after a while, and honestly it was a little bit of a letdown. But with this guy, it's been really, really good. Flavor is just amazing. I'm running the Beyond the Bottles Blackout currently in this guy, and it's been really good. So far, short to midterm impressions, it's really good for people that like a lot of versatility in what they're vaping on. It's a pretty good range for builds. As you guys can see, like I mentioned earlier, running at 90 watts. I have ran this guy upwards of 100. In fact, I ran it as high as 110, and it still worked really well. Mind you, the coils on here I'm running at, I think this is 0.14 ohms, so it's pretty low ohm build. But I have seen these guys run as high as I think it was 0.3. Definitely an RDTA that I would recommend. This thing has been absolutely awesome. Questions, comments, feel free to post them in the comments section below. And as always, vape on.